The Falconer Spread lay dying under the merciless August sun of 1883. Arabella Falconer stood at the stable door, watching dust devils dance across lands so parched it cracked like old pottery. 5 years back, this same ground had grown grass so thick a calf could disappear in it. Now, it barely supported sagebrush. Her father, Jeremiah Falconer, sat on the porch with his leg propped on a stool. The break from last winter still troubled him. At 53, he moved like a man 20 years older. Arabella walked toward the main house, her worn boots kicking up small clouds with each step. "Water's running low in the east pasture," she said. "I moved 30 head, closer to the river." Jeremiah nodded slowly. His eyes held the hollow look of a man watching everything he built crumble. "The bank sent word yesterday." He pulled a letter from his shirt pocket. 60 days. We will deliver 500 head to the railhead in Ophir Springs by October 15th. Or Elias Vance forecloses on everything. The name struck like a fist. Elias Vance owned the Double V Ranch. 500 head, Arabella counted. "We have maybe 400 left, and half of them are too weak." Jeremiah sighed. "And no crew in the territory will sign on for a drive led by a crippled rancher and his daughter." Arabella turned. Her eyes remained sharp, calculating, and dangerously alive. "Then we do not give him the chance," she said quietly. She went inside, moving to the room that had belonged to her brother, Caleb. That night, after Jeremiah had gone to sleep, Arabella sat with the shears. She cut her hair until it barely reached her collar. She bound her chest with strips of cotton until her shape flattened and slipped into Caleb's clothes. She practiced lowering her voice, speaking in short, clipped sentences, like the hammer of a pistol. By dawn, Arabella Falconer had disappeared. In her place stood a young ranch hand named Cole Falconer, nephew to the injured rancher. Jeremiah stared when she walked into the kitchen. "Good God," he whispered. "Close enough to pass," Arabella said, her voice a low, rough rasp. "You sound like Caleb would have. It will work." Arabella poured herself coffee. "I ride into town today. A young trail boss looking to hire drovers for a 60-day push to Ophir Springs." She met his gaze. "They will not discover the truth, and if they do, it will be too late." She rode into Stillwater Creek at mid-morning. Inside the saloon, she announced her purpose. "Looking to hire drovers, 20 men for a 60-day drive to Ophir Springs. Pay is $40 a man." Silas Thorne, a lean drifter, mocked her. "You look about 18, boy. Have you ever bossed a trail drive before? Have you ever let $40 slip through your fingers because you were too busy talking?" Arabella countered. Then 3 men entered. The leader was Augustus Vance, nephew to Elias Vance, polished and confident. He ordered whiskey and turned his gaze on Arabella. "My uncle has authorized me to oversee this drive personally, to ensure everything is conducted fairly and within the terms of the loan agreement." Arabella felt fury. "Your uncle has no legal right to interfere." "He holds the note on your land," Augustus replied, an oily smile touching his lips. "I will be joining your crew as an observer, unless, of course, you have something to hide." "Observers do not get paid," she said flatly. "I am not asking for pay," Augustus smiled. "Just a spot on the drive and a fair accounting." "Fine," Arabella gave the word. "We leave in 3 days." She walked out without looking back. The herd moved out under a sky the color of bleached bone. Arabella rode point. Soon, Augustus pulled alongside her. "We are angling too far east." "We are angling toward water," Arabella corrected. "The main trail is where your uncle's men will be watching. We take the longer route and avoid complications." Augustus was quiet for a moment. "You do not trust me." "I do not trust your uncle. You are here as his representative, which means I trust you even less." He adjusted his hat. "But if we are to spend 60 days together, we might as well be civil about it." "Civility does not move cattle," Arabella said. "Hard work does. If you want to be useful, ride drag." She spurred her horse forward. The days blurred. On the 10th day, the sky turned dark. "Storm is coming," Silas said. "Box Canyon 3 miles ahead. Move them fast." As the herd filed into the canyon, Arabella counted 482. 18 were missing. "I have to go back," she shouted. She rode back into the teeth of the storm. Rain hammered down. She found the strays. Augustus Vance appeared through the rain. "What are you doing?" he shouted. "My job," she shouted back. Not without you, he said, and moved to the other side of the cattle, helping her push them forward. They worked in tandem, moving with an efficiency born of necessity. The last 5 cattle were the hardest. One old bull charged. Arabella's horse reared, and she was thrown, pinned across the waist by a heavy rail. Augustus ran to her, heaving the rail just enough for Arabella to drag herself backward. He knelt beside her. "Are you hurt?" "I am fine," she insisted, standing up. As he helped her, his fingers pressed against her side, and he felt the binding beneath her shirt. Augustus froze. His hands remained on her waist, his grip tentative and uncertain. He looked down, then up at her face. "You are," he started. "Hurt?" Arabella said quickly, pulling away. "I am hurt and need to check my horse." Augustus caught her arm. "Do not, please. We are 3 weeks into the drive. If the crew finds out now, everything ends." Augustus released her arm, but did not step back. "You've been riding beside me for 3 weeks, and I should have seen it. The way you sit a horse, the way you give orders. It isn't how most men do things." He shook his head. "This is insane. You realize that, right?" Unexpectedly, he laughed, a genuine sound mixed with admiration. "You are either the bravest person I have ever met, or the most foolish. Can I not be both? Apparently." He retrieved his hat. "Your secret is safe with me, but, Arabella, you need to be more careful. That binding is going to slip at the worst moment." "They never were," Arabella said of the odds. "But I am still playing." That night, Arabella walked to the edge of the firelight. "You should be resting." Augustus stood a few paces away. "I can't stop thinking about it," he said quietly. "About you, about the truth. Knowing who you are, it changes nothing about respect. It changes everything about the rest." He moved closer, his hand lifting, hesitant, and when she didn't pull back, his fingers touched her jaw. Heat sparked under her skin. "Arabella," he murmured. She rose into him first. The kiss was swift and certain. Weeks of restraint broke cleanly. "This is reckless," she whispered against his mouth. "Everything about this drive is reckless," he said, breathing unsteady. "For once, let me be careful with you." When his hands found the edge of the binding, she nodded, cotton unwound. Her first full breath came like water after drought. "Beautiful," he breathed. She pulled him down with her. They moved quietly, urgently. Take a moment to savor the raw, dangerous intimacy of the frontier. A single decision of the heart can rewrite a whole future. On the 32nd day, the drive was ambushed. 20 rustlers emerged from the darkness. "We are here for the cattle," the bearded leader called out. "Then I guess we are making it hard," Arabella replied, and gunfire lit the darkness. The cattle panicked. Arabella chased the stampede, but 2 rustlers cornered her. Augustus's pistol barked 3 times. Both rustlers fell. "Go!" he shouted. "I will handle the cattle. You get back to camp and organize the defense. Trust someone else to do their job." Augustus returned an hour before dawn. "I got about half the herd turned back. 250 head are gone. 250. Half the herd." "We continue to Ophir Springs," Arabella said, rising. "We sell what we have, and we deal with whatever comes next when we get there." They reached the outskirts of Ophir Springs on the 58th day. They rode into town to the cattle buyer's office. "Arabella Carter, representing the Falconer Spread," she stated. Martin Fletcher, the buyer, smiled. "Your reputation precedes you, Miss Carter. The one that says you let a cattle drive solo after disguising yourself as a man, fought off rustlers, and made it here despite Elias Vance's best efforts." But Fletcher had an uninvited guest. Arabella walked into the back room. Elias Vance sat at the table. "I have concerns about the legality of the transaction. The loan agreement specified Thomas Carter would deliver the cattle, not his daughter, and certainly not his daughter masquerading as a man." Augustus walked in and stood beside Arabella. "All things your client excels at, Uncle. I've been showing my face for nearly 60 days, right beside Arabella, helping her complete this drive." Augustus produced a folded paper. "The same drive you hired rustlers to sabotage. Baseless accusations, backed by 4 witnesses in the county jail, who are very willing to testify about who paid them." Vance stood slowly. "Then you're cut off. No inheritance, nothing. And when you come crawling back, and you will, don't expect mercy." "I won't be crawling back," Augustus replied. I'll be too busy building something worth keeping." Outside, a crowd had gathered, including Jeremiah Falconer. "Did the old goat try to cheat you?" her father called. "He tried, but Mr. Fletcher here is still willing to buy the cattle, fair market price." A cheer went up. Vance stood on the steps, his face rigid. "Society will never accept you, a woman in men's clothes." "I don't need society to accept me," Arabella replied. "I need my ranch to survive, and it will." The sale was finalized. Arabella collected 7,676 scholars, enough to restructure the loan. When she walked out, Augustus was waiting. "Marry me," he interrupted her. "I know it's sudden, but I've watched you fight for everything you have with a courage I've never seen in anyone. I don't have money anymore, or land or prospects, but I have 2 good hands and a willingness to work. And if you'll have me, I'll spend the rest of my life helping you build that ranch." "Spencer T. Maine, are you seriously proposing to me in the middle of the street covered in trail dust after we've both been awake for about 36 hours straight?" "Yes. That might be the least romantic thing I've ever heard. I never claimed to be romantic. I'm practical. And practically speaking, you need help running that ranch. We work well together. And," his voice softened, "I've fallen in love with you." She kissed him. "That's a maybe, leaning toward yes. Don't push your luck." The next morning, Augustus presented her with a simple silver band fashioned from the cylinder of his old revolver. "It's not fancy, but it's honest, like us." She slipped it onto her finger. "Yes," she said. "Yes, I'll marry you. Yes to all of it." They married 3 days later. The first year was the hardest. They worked dawn to dusk, 7 days a week, slowly rebuilding the Falconer Spread. Augustus proved surprisingly adept at ranch work. He never once expressed regret over his lost inheritance. "I traded money I didn't earn for work that matters. Best deal I ever made." 2 years after the drive, Arabella gave birth to twins, Catherine and Thomas. Parenthood transformed them. The ranch prospered. They expanded, hiring hands and building a community. Augustus's relationship with his uncle remained severed. Vance died 7 years after the drive, bitter and alone. 23 years after the drive, Arabella and Augustus sat on the porch of their home as the sun set over the flourishing Falconer Spread. Their hair was silver, their lives intertwined. The ranch was solid and comfortable. Augustus reached over and took her hand, his thumb brushing the scar on her wrist. "Still think I picked the wrong moment for that proposal?" Arabella laughed. The wrong moment, the wrong location, probably the wrong words. But somehow it all worked out. "I prefer to think it was inevitable. 2 stubborn people, too pig-headed to admit defeat." "Second best," Arabella corrected. "The first was when you chose to help me, instead of sabotaging the drive." "Fair point. They're really part of the same decision, aren't they? Help Arabella, fall in love with Arabella, marry Arabella, spend the rest of my life trying to be worthy of Arabella. You're already worthy, you ridiculous man." They sat together as night fell over the prairie. Their story would be told and retold. The woman who dressed as a man, the cattle baron's nephew who chose love over inheritance, the 60-day drive that became legend. But for Arabella and Augustus, none of that mattered as much as the simple reality of what they'd built: a home, a family, a life worth living, together. Your choices define your legacy. What is the impossible choice you need to make to build the life you truly want?